e4. But I think you're talking about the board with reverse colors. Or you mean the knight sack on d5? You're just talking about the coordinates backwards, I'm sure. You mean white playing knight d5? Yeah, I mean, this is the most like thematic sacrifice white can make. The d5 square in Sicilian is the most important square, and knight d5, yeah. I mean, I've seen it a million times in different kind of Scheveningen structures. It happens all the time in like the g3 Scheveningen, sometimes in the mainline Scheveningen. I used to play the Scheveningen with black, so I mean, I'm normally aware of the possibility of knight d5. It happens in the Mora gambit as well. Okay, now king f2, I guess. We don't really like our king, you know, where it is, but it's just a piece for queen, so let's just get this over with. We shouldn't have any problems here. If I have to, I'll sacrifice some material back. Oh yeah, I'm not really awake. Rossalimo might be the most aggressive variation of the Sicilian besides the Grand Prix. What do you think? No. No, I think that it's aggressive in a way, but it's different, you know. It all depends on your style. I mean, the Rossalimo is like kind of a positional aggression, you know, whereas the open Sicilian is suited better for tactical players. I think the Rossalimo is good for aggressive positional style players. Sometimes the whole game revolves around making black have one bad piece, like the bishop on c8, for example. But it is similar to the Grand Prix in that respect. You're right. There's a lot of similarity between the Grand Prix and the Rossalimo. They're both like aggressive positional systems for white. But guys, check out the video on video chess training if you want to know what we're talking about. Anyway, it was a game I played yesterday here and lost horribly, but learned a lot from. Actually, not lost horribly. I lost in a rook ending that was a draw. Probably it shouldn't have been, though. Both sides misplayed the ending. I want to get my pieces out here. Bishop takes. Here, okay, let's just take and give a little material back. Not really giving anything back. It's just like not much to give back. So queen, rook, and bishop against two rooks. Thanks for my Rossalimo comments. You're welcome. Well, Rossalimo is a system that I've had a lot of problems with, and I've had problems in this d6 variation. But in every variation of the Rossalimo, black's going to have problems. I think if I had to recommend, probably the best for black is g6. The problem with the line that I played, d6, is that, I mean on a very deep level, the problem is that it's a little slow. Like the kingside development is a little slow for black. You're basically playing in English like a tempo down with white. A kind of slow like Capablanca variation of the English with the tempo down. So if you play g6 for black against the Rossalimo, that's the main line because you're developing the kingside. And I think even e6 is a little more fundamental than d6. I've never liked e6 because black oftentimes ends up with real problems with the bishop on c8. It can become a very bad piece like I was talking about. Okay, 5-2, guys. If you want to challenge me, anything between 5 and 12 minutes with a small increment is fine. All right, we've had the thematic discussion about the Rossalimo here. Sophia, I think I've had enough for today, but maybe later if there's nobody challenging. We're going to give everybody a chance to play. I don't like to play the same players twice during the stream, really. So knight c3, although I really appreciate your games, you play very well. Knight c3, we haven't had a lot of theoretical variations. There was a game I did a video about in a dragon a couple days ago. You guys can also check that out on my YouTube. The YouTube doesn't have so many videos. We've only been doing it for like a month basically, and a lot of uploads. But I'm gonna be adding videos 2 or 3 every week, maybe even more when I get time. So I think over the next year you'll see my YouTube channel is gonna be filled with stuff. Okay, this is weird how things keep happening. Like Gigi, did you play this variation against me before? It was you, maybe. I just keep getting same variations, like in sort of little spurts, you know. So I'll get a whole bunch of people who play F3 around the same time, and then I'll get a lot of people playing, you know, G3 all in a row. It seems like you get the same opening lines, like a run on the same opening lines, basically. Only a draw today for Sophia Rogers. Well, you know, Sophia, I mean, I'm kind of at a handicap against you because your openings are pretty well worked out. So I have to play like anti-theory. With knight a4, I'm giving up my opening advantage. So I'm kind of at a loss there. I mentioned this before, guys. In this variation, knight takes d5 leads to a lot of simplification, like it would also in some lines of the accelerated dragon. So if you want to play for a win, knight b4. I'm not sure this variation has a name per se. F3 against the classical, and a6 for black. We could do a whole video just on this system. It went through a little trend for a while, maybe 10 or 12 years ago. Gotta go, unfortunately. Like your videos, you can separate your videos depending on the issue. Yeah, I'm gonna organize the channel. That's one of my priorities the next week or so, is to sort out the stuff on my YouTube channel, because I've got tons of uploads that need to be like sorted into different categories, and yeah, we're gonna be doing that. That's on my to-do list. Bishop c4, active developing move. That looks okay. I don't really know which knight to take with here. I think knight on b4 is kind of hanging out in thin air, so I don't see any tricks. We just have to take back. Whenever I get this position, I have the feeling I'm playing like a Tarrasch French. You guys know the Tarrasch French, a la Mickey Adams, but with a slight difference that White's played f3. Black has like the kind of position you get in a Tarrasch French with the knight on d5 instead of on f6. And White has kind of like a white Tarrasch French setup with the pawn on f3. But that's important because when we use this diagonal here for black, as is often the case as black in the Tarrasch French, when black plays c5 lines, this diagonal is very sensitive. White can't do any like pawn sacrifices of the h2 pawn, like Adams versus Bareev. You guys know the classic French Tarrasch game, Adams Bareev. He's basically like beaten everybody in the world in the French defense. Probably the strongest anti-French player in the world, Michael Adams. A little plug for Chess Lecture. I for years worked for chesslecture.com. If you guys have the money to pay for a subscription, they have a huge library of chess videos over there, and I've been a contributor for a long time. So they're not a sponsor of my stream or anything, but if you're seriously interested, I have a lot of videos over there. So I did a series on Michael Adams recently, and he just kills the French defense. It's just unbelievable. I mean, his score against the French defense against grandmasters is like 80% or something insane. And this structurally reminded me of the French Tarrasch. Someone is watching too much Breaking Bad, I think. So, Queen e2. And developing a piece. We've got to watch out for like knight f5 type of things. It's not on here. Looks like White's going to try to play c4, kind of smush me on the queen side. Definitely a relevant theme. The queen side majority here. I've played a lot of different openings in my career. I I was talking about the French, but it's not really a serious part of my repertoire. But this is also a structure that's typical in the Sicilian, typical in the Caro-Kann. I did play the Caro-Kann a lot, never with a great success. So queenside majority for white is a problem. White's going to play c4, and it's going to be possibly an issue for me. I don't even know where I'm going to put my queen. I don't really have a great square for the queen. We could try bishop d6 and something... You know, it just doesn't look right to play bishop d6, c4, queen e5, or bishop d6, c4, queen h5. These moves look very artificial, but now we've talked too much, and we just have to play blitz. I just realized I'm going to flag. Time is up. Thank you for telling me, but we have increment, guys, so don't panic. Man can live on increment alone. Oh, it was you. Okay. It was him. It was my opponent. You're such a gentleman. Or gentle lady. Yeah. I'm talking, but... Alright. I'm going to try to hold up... Maybe this is hopeless. Try to hold up the queenside majority here a little bit. But I need to get my king into safe haven. Actually, it's not clear where my bishop really should go here. But your knight is driving me crazy, so that's driving me crazy, really. Knight on d4 is... That's got to go. Strongest piece in the Sicilian for white. It's not good to let it sit there the entire game, doing damage. Okay, bishop e6 I have. Keeping surveillance on the knight on b3. Guys, don't be nervous. I'm going to try not to lose on time. It's funny, I never used to use increments at all, but I'm starting to become dependent on it. I think it's like an addiction. It's like bullet chess. The more you use it, the more you need it. But if I'm playing chess in my free time, I play straight up 5-minute or 3-minute is my preferred blitz time control. You know, as John Fedorovich said, he wants to be able to win on time. We can blow up your queen side. You can try. You can always try. I'm not sure what's going on here. GG played very compact, very tight game, and no reason that they should be worse in this position. Yes, I have the bishop pair, but I think white's queenside majority basically kind of compensated, which is not at all surprising. I wanted to get open the A file. Not gonna happen, it looks like. So it doesn't look like I'm in any grave danger. Maybe I'm gonna lose a pawn though. Let's see. We're gonna lose a pawn. Maybe not. Knight e4. GG, you're playing too fast. Whew, this is tough. Gotta get out of that. Get out of the line. I offered to draw, but I don't know if GG even wants to draw here. Added more time. Once again, folks, if I'm slightly worse, I'm not opposed to offering a draw. Or if even it's equal. I'm not going to try to flag people with in equal position.